Is Arcane the best video game adaptation out there? Let's talk about it. Greetings, everyone. I'm Big Fella, and today I will be talking about the Netflix animated series Arcane, based on the video game created by Riot Games' League of Legends. Now, for reference, League of Legends is basically like a role-playing game where you can play as like a specific character, and each character can like do a certain thing or have a different specific method of combat, and basically like you fight each other. I'm not familiar with the game modes, particularly because it's been a long time since I've ever played it or done research on it. But I'm going to be completely honest with you. The game itself is good, but the community that plays it is often associated with toxic behavior. Like, this is a type of game where if you're a newbie and you play a game and you don't play the way that more experienced players think you should play, they'll basically tell you you suck and basically rip on you for the entirety of the play. And that was something that basically made me have mixed feelings about Arcane being announced. But as soon as I watched this show, like watched it all the way through to the end of season 1, that completely changed. Like, this series was fantastic. And like even like playing with your emotions, because there are like moments where like you have genuine happiness for the characters, like it seems like everything's going good for them, and then it gets snatched away. Like, that's literally how I would describe my feelings in the ending of season 1, because literally the Council of Piltover, the people who are in charge of the higher city, they're literally about to give Zaun, the underbelly, and Vi and Jinx's home, basically about to give it their independence, and Jinx fires a rocket at the tower of the council, and it ends right as the tip of the rocket connects with the glass window. And season 2 picks off directly after that. We don't see the explosion, but we see the effects, and most of the council is dead. Vi and Caitlyn like get away, and Jinx is at large, and basically just goes downhill from there. And I mean, it's awesome, but I was just disappointed that it took so long for us to wait for season 2, and it was split into 3 parts. That I was a little disappointed with. But overall, like, the ending of the show was great. Like, it actually ended in a way that was very satisfying, albeit very bittersweet, because a bunch of the characters that you grew to know and love or hate, depending, are dead. Like, Mbessa is dead. Victor and Jace, I'm not sure if they're dead, but I'm not entirely sure. Heimerdinger is dead. But some of the characters that I didn't like too much are dead, including Maddie. Yep, and nothing of value was lost. Literally, the one character that I wanted to talk about hating so much is, like, she's gone. And I will say this, like, even though it's very, like, bittersweet that the fact that, like, Jinx was presumably killed, but the fact that like Caitlyn was like looking at like the schematics of the building that like she like tried to blow up or like blew herself up, that like she saw an escape hatch, that just proves to me that Jinx is not dead. She's just like, she was on that airship in the final frame of the show. So I don't know if like she could be the focus of the next series, that because I'll get to that in a second, but the fact that like, even though yes, some of this parts of the ending were bittersweet, the fact that like Caitlyn and Vi are still together, that is happy enough for me. Like, that is enough joy for me. But on a more bittersweet aspect, I want to talk about Echo, because he was the underrated GOAT of this season. Because we literally see him like end up in a world where Jinx is Powder, her old name. Vander, Silco, they're alive, and they don't hate each other, and Echo and Jinx are in love. The fact that, like, he sacrificed that to go back to his own home just makes me respect him all the more, because that takes a lot of will and a whole lot of sacrifice. And the fact that he did that, like I said, my boy Echo, he deserved to be happy, but I respect him for, like, going back to his own home and sticking with that. But yes, I will say this though. The fact that like this show only lasted 2 seasons and 18 episodes worth, I'm very disappointed with. But when you look at how much money was invested into this show, it makes sense. because I'm sure those of you have seen it already. Across the entirety of these 18 episodes, this show cost $250 million to make, making it one of the most expensive, if not the most expensive, animated series to be done. And it certainly makes a lot of sense when you look at like the environments that were made, the animation of the fights, and like how they change like the different aspects of animation, including Vander / Warwick's flashbacking to seeing Vi and Jinx when they were kids. It makes a lot of sense. And like 250 million, that would be enough to make an MCU movie or like a big budget box office banger. But I mean, it makes sense because animators they do really good, and they knocked it out of the park with this one. But overall, like I'm pretty sure one of the producers at Riot said that while Arcane may be over, there's no like saying that this isn't the last League of Legends show. And I hope that like they find like a good enough character to like fully like bring to life like with that animation style, because if I remember correctly, there's like close to 100 champions in League of Legends. That's a lot of like characters to choose from and a lot of ground to cover, because the world of Runeterra, where this series takes place, it's huge. And if like other like developers like took Arcane into account, they could make even better video game adaptations, because in the early 2000s there were a lot of crappy movies that were based on video games, and even in the 1990s. But in the case of like the Sonic movies, and even shows on Netflix like Castlevania, Captain Laserhawk, and even the upcoming Devil May Cry, although Devil May Cry I'm not sure if it's good yet, but it looks like it could be promising, that good video game adaptations can be done right if the developers have done their research, if they care about the world building, and they make the characters in a way similar to how they act in the game. And besides the animation and like the fights, I really liked the performances of the cast. Like the three leads, like Haley Steinfeld as Vi, Katie Leung as Caitlyn, and Ella Purnell as Jinx. They were all fantastic. I've both seen Haley Steinfeld act as well as do her voice, because she also voices Spider-Gwen in the Spider-Verse movies, and by the way, I'm really excited for Beyond the Spider-Verse. She did a really good job of portraying Vi, like the badass who could like not afraid to get her hands dirty in a fist fight, and I really liked that. Katie Leung, I really liked her performance as Caitlyn. Like she went from like an officer of Piltover's police force that was basically trying to follow the rules, doing her job, to almost going like full dictator before finally like turning a new leaf and deciding to fight for what was right. And Ella Purnell as Jinx, she did fantastic. Like she was able to portray the like jokester side to Jinx, but also like portrayed the psychopathy. The psychopathy of Jinx, because like Jinx could be all like cute and funny, and then next minute, boom, you're dead. Like she's basically like Harley Quinn, and they even made a death battle between Harley Quinn and Jinx, and it's really good. I highly recommend it. But I just loved this show, and even though yes, a few of the characters are dead or they're like separated from some of their friends, it's still a great show to watch. And if you haven't watched it already, sorry about the spoilers, but seriously, check it out. Even like rewatching it from beginning to end, it like it still evokes the same sense of emotion every time. And yeah, now that like the whole series is out, I can watch it and not worry about like having to wait for a week for the next act to come out. But it was a great show. Although I do wish it had lasted longer, I think it's better that they kept it like short and sweet rather than dragging it out. But like I said, there's a lot more stories that they could tell in this universe, and I would love it if they could like bring like another well-known or even a lesser-known League of Legends character to life. But overall, Arcane is a blast. It gets a yay rating from me, and if you want to see a good show, even like putting aside the fact that it's based on a video game, go check it out because it is amazing. So, that concludes our episode for today. If you want to see my 60-second review of Arcane Season 2 Act 2, I will put the link in the description, or I'll probably link it in the video. And if you want to see me focus on more pop culture content, or if there's any other topics you'd like me to cover, Please leave a comment and subscribe for more, because I love to hear from you guys, and I love to see like more people want to hear my stuff. So anyway, once again, I'm Big Fella, and I'll see you next time.